Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Oracles. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Zilliqa. What makes Zilliqa so successful? How does the blockchain differ from other blockchains we've seen in the past? Why has the price of Zilliqa gone up 4 times from its previous value just a couple of days ago? How is Zilliqa entering the metaverse? Is it a good time to buy or should you wait for a lower price? Of course, none of this is financial advice. You should do your own research. But this is just to share interesting projects, interesting opportunities in the space. Of course, don't forget to join our Discord and our Telegram channels. We've been talking about Zilliqa in the last couple of weeks. And around me, you can see our NFTs. These are the passports to our community from which you can get amazing alpha, insights, discussion, trading material, courses, educational content, and so on and so much more. So let me get started right away. Let's start talking about Zilliqa. So I want to introduce you to the history of Zilliqa, and let's start from 2017. So Zilliqa was born in 2017 from the University of Singapore. It raised about $22 million in the first founding round. It was the first blockchain to successfully apply sharding. We're going to talk about what sharding is in a moment. And it's one of the fastest blockchains out there. It can handle 2,500 transactions per second, which of course puts it against payment systems such as MasterCard and Visa. So let's talk about how it was born. So who created Zilliqa? Zilliqa was launched in 2017 by co-founders Amrit Kumar and Xingshu Don, two researchers from the National University of Singapore. The network mainnet was actually launched 2 years later in 2019. The project held an initial coin offering of the ZIL token in 2017, and they raised $22 million in ETH. And Zilliqa is supported by the founding Zilliqa Research Company, as well as a growth initiative company called ZIL Hive. So how is the Zilliqa blockchain different from other blockchains you may have seen? Well, they were the first to use the concept of sharding. Now, you can think of sharding as a way to process transactions in parallel and has quite a lot of benefits. So think about it this way. If you have one single blockchain that is able to allow for 100 transactions per second, if you manage to break it down into separate blocks that compute microtransactions, then you can do this in parallel at the same time. And of course, then your speed increases exponentially. So from 100 transactions, you can now do 1,000 transactions if you have 10 shards. And this is exactly how Zilliqa works. So in terms of what this allows for is that it makes it actually way more scalable. The more nodes you have, the more activity you have, the faster you can effectively go. It increases privacy and security, and we're going to take a look at that in a moment, and it makes it effectively decentralized. We've seen other blockchains are not really that decentralized after all. And they actually have a very interesting concept of making sure there is at least 600 nodes per shard, and this is to reduce the risk of malicious activity. By doing this, they guarantee that they never have more than 1/3 of nodes affected by potential malicious activity, and reduce the probability of attacks, I think, to 1 in a million. So Zilliqa blockchain is smart. What they did here is, I think, is really interesting. So they still use proof of work, but they only use proof of work to basically establish the initial mining identity. So when a new validator comes on board and says, I want to be a validator for the Zilliqa ecosystem and the Zilliqa blockchain, well, they have to compute proof of work. After that, though, is no longer necessary. So that makes it, of course, very light. After that, finality, which is basically when the transactions are approved, is provided via an optimized Byzantine fault-tolerant consensus protocol. Now, what does it actually mean? Well, all you need to know is that if there is a malicious actor in the system is actually able to remain protected, and it's kept very lightweight. So thanks to PBFT, what Zilliqa blockchain can do is finalize transactions without the need to wait for multiple confirmations and no waiting period. It can reduce energy consumption, and consensus is reached without requiring intensive computations. So it takes about 2/3 less energy than normal proof of work, and it only takes about 1 or 2 minutes out of 2 to 3 hours to mine Zilliqa, to mine ZIL tokens. And of course, there is an incentive of every node with a greater payout because it costs less to run a node. In terms of transactions, we said Zilliqa blockchain is really fast. So the top speed of Zilliqa is 2,828 transactions per second. If you compare that to Bitcoin, it's 7, compared to Ethereum 15, Tesla's 50, or Cardano 250. Now, of course, we've seen other blockchain having really fast transactions as well. We've seen Solana, we've seen Terra Luna, we've seen Avax and Phantom as well. So nothing new here, but still really good that Zilliqa is on the fast side. And Zilliqa is, of course, very cheap. So when we talk about the ZIL token transfers, it costs about 1 cent compared to, well, $2.50 for Ethereum. That can actually be much higher than that. It's usually about $10. For fungible token transfer is 10 cents. And for NFTs is also about 10 cents compared to Ethereum. That is a very, very small fraction. The Zilliqa blockchain is now joining the metaverse. This is what we're talking about today. This is why we're here today. So a bunch of news came out in the last couple of days that actually absolutely swept the crypto news and crypto markets. Everybody's talking about Zilliqa. Why is that? Well, the answer is called Metapolis, and we're going to take a look at that now in a moment. So let me just switch to that and let's take a look together. So before we do, I kind of want to show you, again, kind of just bring back from Zilliqa Ecosystem. So the ecosystem in Zilliqa is absolutely massive. We've seen a lot of interesting partners, Bitfinex, Bittrex, Binance, BitHum, PancakeSwap, Chainlink, and it goes on and on and on. Like, this is an absolutely huge ecosystem, and it's bound to grow more and more. Definitely take a look at the website. Really interesting website. If you are interested in using Zilliqa in your projects, or you are a developer and you want to develop the apps on Zilliqa, definitely check out their portal. I found really interesting their introduction to Scilla. Scilla is the Zilliqa programming language. They have 3 different levels. Really, really good course. I definitely recommend it. I will put a link in the description down below. Don't forget to check it out. So let's talk about the metaverse. Everybody in the last 6 months have been talking about NFTs and metaverse, and Zilliqa is now finally coming around to join the metaverse. Yes, the rumors are true. Zilliqa will be hitting Miami to host an exclusive early access event for Metapolis. And they posted this really nice photo of Metapolis. So let's take a look at a sneak peek video together. All right. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section down below. I'm definitely gonna leave a like to this video. Don't forget to like this video as well. So what I thought about this, I think is really interesting. The Zilliqa is entering the metaverse. I think is a really good move for them, especially given the fast transactions entering the NFT space through the metaverse. It's good for them and good for the users. In looking at the metaverse and Metapolis itself, this was built in Unreal Engine 4. It looks okay. I have reservations about the looks, to be honest. We've seen better metaverses, and if you look at Sandbox, for example, I think the approach they took there of being slightly less realistic actually has a much better effect. We've seen NetVRK, which is absolutely amazing. So maybe not the best looking one, but we'll see how this plays out, especially given the very, very low fees. So let's take a look at a couple of details, couple of articles I found. So Zilliqa ZIL price quadruples on optimisms around start of a metaverse service. Now, this is what is really interesting about the metaverse in Zilliqa. It's not just a metaverse. They haven't just built something like the Sandbox. They built a metaverse as a service. Now think about Amazon AWS, for example. That is servers and the internet as a service. Everybody can go and create their own applications. Things about Netflix is running on AWS. Now, this is kind of the same thing. Everybody can now go and use Zilliqa to create a metaverse. I think this is absolutely brilliant, and it will see a lot of adoption in the future. So the token, of course, increased in price by nearly 350%. It touched $0.21, nearly all-time high. All-time high was $0.23 back in 2021. And if we take a look at what's going on with Zilliqa, why is it going up? We say Metapolis, what I just showed you now, which is referred to as the Metaverse for All, is a service setup offering a blank canvas for clients to build their own virtual universe as they desire. While observers foresee metaverse industry booming over the coming years, accessing the same is challenging for the general population, as building virtual infrastructure requires significant investment and technology expertise. And I couldn't agree more with this. This is what we've been working on in Crypto Oracles for the last 6 months. It's a really, really hard things to do. Metaverse-as-a-service providers like Metapolis provide required technology and infrastructure to enable users to create and maintain their own metaverses. So you may very well see Crypto Oracle's metaverse in Zilliqa. And I think this is brilliant. Metaverse as a service is something that we're missing, and Zilliqa enabling this, especially with the low fees and the blockchain we just taken a look at, is absolutely great. Now, let's get to the real question that you're asking yourself. Should you get involved? Should you buy the Zilliqa token now? Should you start looking into their ecosystem? So if we take a look at the price action in the last couple of days, if we look at all-time high, and then we're going to look at charts in a second, we definitely see massive spike. This is a classic buy the rumor, sell the news. It was actually over 3 or 4 days, so people literally bought the rumors and then sold off the news. If we look at Zilliqa market cap, we have a market cap at about $2 billion, fully diluted at $3 billion, so 66% is in circulation, which I think is pretty good, doesn't put too much sell pressure on the token. Trading volume right now is absolutely crazy, of course. I mean, everybody's trading Zilliqa today and in the last couple of days. And the total supply, it's 21 billion tokens, and the circulating supply is about 12, so half of it is currently circulating. So let's take a look at the charts, see, what can we do with Zilliqa? Is it a good time to buy or not, right? So let's look at this historically. Zilliqa was just about 1 to 2 cents in 2020. In the bull run in December 2020 to May 2021, the price went from just 3 cents to about 30 cents, let's say, so 10x as we've seen with other cryptocurrencies. And then it went all the way back down in the last year, back to just about 3 cents. And then in the last week, it just completely exploded all the way up to 22.8, 22.9, actually 0.23, so 23 cents. Now, does this mean you should buy Zilliqa today? Well, let's take a closer look at the daily chart, right? So what's going on? This is what I see with Zilliqa. I see a support level on the daily. So because we have broken above this major resistance level that you can see here, so if I extend this line a bit more, we had this resistance level here. And you can see that the 200 days moving average was also acting as resistance just around that level. So what I want to see Zilliqa doing now is flipping this to support. And then the good news and the ecosystem and metaverse will keep bringing the price up. So right now, what I'm waiting for is basically just for the price to drop back down into the zone. And then if I'm interested in Zilliqa in the long run, I will definitely get a bag of Zilliqa tokens. In terms of long-term support, then definitely, it's this 3 to 2 or 3 cents price value. I don't think we're going to see Zilliqa at 2 or 3 cents again anytime soon. Now, the question is, should you buy today? I don't think it's a good time to enter Zilliqa. Of course, as I said, no financial advice. Do your own research before following blindly anything I say. But by just looking at the metrics and tools we have, Zilliqa moved up about 486%, right? You don't want to buy anything after it moves that much, after it was parabolic like that. And as you can see here, this was when the rumor came out, this is when the news came out, and then people basically bought the rumor and then sold the news just like right here. Now, if you just use a couple of simple tools like the Fibonacci extension, what this tells you is basically what levels the price could go back to. The main level the price usually goes back to after such a huge pump is the 0.61 Fib level, which aligns perfectly with the support area I identified. So, if you're interested in Zilliqa, I would wait for the price to go down back to about 10 cents or 9 to 10 cents, and that could be a good entry. Definitely, dollar cost average your entries, don't enter everything in one go. Apart from that, the next support would definitely be the 200 days moving average, which by the time you get to that price would probably be about 8.5 cents. So I think this is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely don't forget to check the links in the description down below. Join our Discord, check out our NFTs. Feel free to ask any questions and enjoy our content. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow.